today's roundtable discussion, TimelyTalks UK, blowing up the beauty pie. So in this session, we are going to be talking about the value of the UK beauty industry and how we can build beauty to become a $50 billion pound industry and command the respect that it deserves. So I'm absolutely delighted to say that our members of the panel are some of the biggest names in beauty from the UK and Ireland. For those who don't know me, my name is Lou Court and from Timely, and I'll be your host today. So to introduce our fabulous guests that we have joining us today. So we have Jessica Crane, international business coach, helping salon owners across the globe increase profit and reach the next level in their business. Now we also have with us Haylee Benton, CEO and Managing Director of Alchemy & I, Cecily Day Spa, Koha Skin Clinics as well. Awesome. We also have Gareth Bromell, Celebrity Session Hairstylist, Global Brand Ambassador for Evo Hair Care, co-founder of Henshin, and soon to be launched H by Gareth Bromell at Harvey Nichols. Hi Gareth, welcome. We also have joining us Adam Chatterley, beauty industry business success coach and course creator and chairman of the UK Spa Association. Now, very last but not least, we also have with us Ryan Baker, our co-founder and CEO of Timely. This is a conversation on the value of the UK beauty industry. So let's get started with our first question. So tell us a bit about you and your journey in the beauty industry. And we'll start off with Jess.
Oh, fab. Thanks, Lou. So my journey started when I had my first Saturday job in a salon when I was 12. And for me, like one of my earliest memories was that I need to be self-sufficient. I need to be able to support myself financially. And I also wanted a job that I could be free, like I could go anywhere, I could get as far away from my current situation as possible. And with hair and beauty, like there are just so many opportunities with our industry. There's so many different types of job role that yes, it all starts at a foundational level of learning hair or beauty, but then there's so many different directions, and that's what I loved about it.
Now, Haylee, if you'd like to kick it off, tell us a wee bit about you and your journey.
Sure. So I'm Haylee Benton. I'm an entrepreneur and investor, but also a founder. So I love creating businesses, running businesses. About 6 years ago, I actually ended up launching, whilst I was at university doing business, I launched Pamper Pad, which is like the TripAdvisor of the beauty industry. So here in the UK, it's got over 8,000 hair and beauty businesses registered on it. And then I launched a hair salon called Alchemy & I, and also a skin clinic called Koha Skin Clinics as well. And from a business point of view, I just want to turn the hair and beauty industry on its head. So I pay people totally different structures to what they're used to in the hair and beauty industry. I adapt with technology, and I use Timely all the time, and I'm pushing that constantly to try and make sure that we are just going with all the latest trends in the software and actually getting the best for our business.
Awesome. And Gareth, if you would like to go for it.
So my name is Gareth Bromell. I'm originally from Ireland. I'm based here at the moment. My beginning was kind of like Jess's there. I started with Tony and Guy when I was 15, and just kind of school wasn't for me, and it gave me a kind of creative outlet. Worked there for quite a bit in between Dublin and back and forth to London and stuff like that, you know. But I always kind of had a passion for what I would see in the magazines, editorial wise. My journey then with that was I moved to London when I was 20, started working there. That's how I got into the session part of my career. And I still kind of maintained a chair at a hair salon. I worked for Hershey's in London. That went on to then bring me to Los Angeles and New York, where I kind of have lived for the past 9 years. And kind of that brought me global. So would have my base in America, doing editorial and session work. I would also always kind of kept a chair at a salon, worked alongside Tracy Cunningham at Mesh in Los Angeles, Marie Robinson in New York, and then Hershison's again in London. I created a kind of beauty bar called Henshin, kind of co-founder of that. I'm no longer a part of that anymore. Now I'm going to go on my own adventure with H by Gareth Bromell, and my first location will be with Harvey Nichols in Dublin.
Awesome. And Adam?
Yeah, so listening to those, mine's a little bit different. I'm an economist by training, which is not necessarily the way you think I'd end up in this industry, but I guess similar to Haylee. So at my training, like I say, is in business management and economy. That's the 2 degrees that I've got. But I very early on in my career kind of accidentally ended up working for this software company who produced software for golf clubs at the time. So you went and booked a tee time and they would manage that. Now, this was at a time when I think they were pretty much the only golf club management software. So they had some incredible clients around the world. So I went to work for them, and basically my job was to go out there and make sure that the software was doing the right job for the business, and it kind of worked operationally. Now, this was at a time when these places started opening up spas as well. So they were generally connected to a hotel. They had the golf club, but they started to open up spas as well. And this business knew nothing about how spas operated. So I was dispatched to a few of these places to kind of learn this business, understand how it worked, and what they needed to do to create a spa management system. And it was from there, this accidental kind of mishap, that made me fall in love with this side of the industry purely from a numbers point of view. So I worked with spas for 15 years all around the world. Similar again to Haylee, I've owned them, I've supported them, consulted with them, all sorts of things. But 5 years ago, I decided to kind of shift over from working with the big corporate spas. So at the time, I started working with a couple of independents, and I saw that the speed at which I could help just increase so much. So I could go in, look at a business, make some changes, and immediately see the results that happened from it. And I thought, this is what I want. This is what I get a kick out of. So I decided to completely shift working from the corporates and only work with the independents. And that's what I do now through the podcast and through the courses and through the one-to-one coaching.
Thank you. And Ryan?
Well, hello.
Hello.
I'm Ryan, CEO and co-founder at Timely. Our journey in the beauty industry started about 10 years ago when we started building appointment software, and we had loads of different businesses that used it, but it was the beauty industry that really embraced what we were doing the most. And to be honest, it was the group of people that we enjoyed working with the most as well. So I guess you could say that we fell into it and then fell in love with it, which is a story that you hear a lot, isn't it? I think we've heard it around the room a few times even tonight, and I've heard it loads over the last 10 years. And I guess my mission today is somewhat different. You know, I want to change that narrative. I want to change that story. I don't want people falling into the beauty industry. I want people choosing it because, like Jess said, it's lucrative, it's fulfilling, and it's a respected career choice. So that's the mission we're on here at Timely. And at the end of the day, I believe we solve that by making the industry more profitable and more successful. So that's what we aim to do with our technology.
Next question we've got is, how can we all work together to change the perception of the beauty industry and showcase its value and importance to the economy?
Well, I think lockdown actually just really showed us the importance of how important beauty and wellness is in particular and hair. It's such a critical time, and we actually now need to emphasize the importance of self-care and, you know, human interaction. I actually think, I mean, with our salons, we have a real sense of community. Like, I created the salons for that sort of pub type feel for ladies. And I actually think that the feedback that I've heard is that people have missed that human interaction and feeling good about themselves. What I'm worried about in the industry at the moment is that there's too many discounts going on, which is actually going to devalue what we're doing. And therefore, especially if people aren't adapting to the technology, they don't know how profitable they actually should be. So they might be doing treatments at a too discounted rate and actually loss making.
I just saw your eyes go wide as that last sentence was mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, massively, to build on what Haylee just said, when we first start working with clients, the first thing we do is look at the prices and the numbers, and we kind of put a big hole on any discount. Like, I do not believe in discounts. I will never do discounts as a business. We won't encourage our clients to do discounts, because exactly that, it depreciates your brand. It undervalues what you do, and we are experts at what we do. We've trained really hard. We all put money back into becoming better ourselves, and we're always reinvesting in ourselves. So we need to kind of demand that respect. And if you're putting discounts on, that's not the perception that you are giving out there. And I think in mainstream media as well, we also need to be showing these success stories and showing the ability of these business owners, the salon owners, the spa owners. You know, it's not a job that should be belittled. It's difficult. You know, we're looking after everybody else. We're counsellors, we're therapists, we're experts at what we do technically. Like, you know, we look after the whole community. We're in our high streets. We're what pulls people into the high streets, you know.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Great answer. Awesome. And I can put it to the room if anyone else would like to add anything, or I can keep nominating.
Keep nominating. It's more fun.
I just want to, you know, the both of you, the way you talk, I mean, it's wonderful. For me, when I went down the road of opening my own business and now my second business, the youth I always spoke to about kind of confidence and believing in what you're going to give to the customer and what you do for the customer. I think like it's all about the experience. It's all about your confidence, your self-worth. I'm a mental health ambassador as well. So I kind of, you know, I'm very proud of what I've achieved with my career and who I am today. And I always try and kind of teach the younger kids coming to work for me to be like that. So like with business coaching, I've done business coaching. I've had coaches coach me. It's very important. I think that's really important to kind of get into the educational system as well for the kids, because the more, you know, I believe in myself. So I'm going to be good. I don't have any qualm about like charging what I charge, you know what I mean? Because you're getting your time with me. I love what I do. You're going to love what I do. Well, maybe 90% anyway.
I want to just add as well. So kind of building on what Jessica said, what Haylee said as well, this industry is the most resilient industry that there is out there. Throughout the last recession, 2008, 2010, this was the only industry that grew in that time. We're the only industry that's bucking the high street trend. All across the country, all across the world, high streets are shutting down. You know, big chains are shutting down. We're the only industry that's growing. There's more hair salons, there's more beauty salons, there's more barber shops are going insane in terms of the numbers that are opening up. We are, like Jessica says, we're the people who are bringing people back to the high street. You know, this industry has its issues. It's got its own value problems. People are charging the wrong amounts of money. Discounts are rife, like you've all said, but yet we're still doing as well as we're doing. So if we can fix those discount problems, get people to price properly. I mean, you ask an economy a question about numbers, and I'm going to give you numbers back. Prices have actually dropped by 15% in our industry over the last 10 years. And that is 100% through the damaging discount that constantly keeps going on. You know, we are driving our own prices down, where I'm willing to bet your rent hasn't gone down by that much. I'm willing to bet your wages haven't gone down by that much. So, you know, we're not doing ourselves any favors, yet we're still as resilient as we are. So if we can fix those main problems in there, this industry can take off like no industry that there is out there.
Nice.
I worked with this amazing hairdresser in London, Daniel Hirschison. Like, he's legendary. He's got 2 amazing hair salons in central London. And he always said, you know, like his business went up in a recession. He never, ever lost. You know, it was never down. It always went up.
Yeah, I feel like it's so lovely to have you all on the call, because you can feel that there's a really positive energy. And I'm sure there are days that everyone's had over the past, you know, few months or this year, but you can feel everyone, it feels good talking to you. So it's awesome. Thank you.
I think the important words in your question there as well, Lou, were how can we work together? You know, we're facing some pretty strong headwinds this year, and we really need the whole industry to pull together. You know, we need product companies, distributors, technology companies, salons, coaches. We need everyone to really pull together and face this challenge. And what I'd like to encourage us all to do is be aspirational as we go through it. I want to talk about the industry thriving, not just surviving this period.
Yeah.
We clearly have some big challenges with COVID-19, global pandemic, social distancing, and all of those things that are placing restrictions on us. But if we set ourselves a goal to grow, we can achieve that together. And one of the most important things for me in my own business has always been, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And that's why I was delighted to see the work that the British Beauty Council did over the last couple of years to really bring some metrics together around the size of the industry, which is really important. We have a starting point right now. We understand it's a $28 billion industry in the UK, and we should set ourselves a goal to grow that to 50 billion as quickly as we can. And when we do that, it's a rising tide effect for everybody within the industry. So I think you're right to say, how do we work together? Because that's the way we're going to get there.
How can technology step up and help the UK beauty industry to grow and become a £50 billion industry? And yeah, if anyone would like to start, kick it off.
Me.
Yeah, sorry. You go.
So it's funny. Ryan mentioned the British Beauty Council study there, and once again, economist numbers, love it. So I went through the whole thing and pulled it all apart, and have basically kind of figured out where the holes were. First of all, it didn't include any of the spas. So for a start, we're actually £2.4 billion better off than the study even says, because it only really looked at high street and the retail sector. Now, again, within there was 8 billion of services that can be improved straight away. And I've heard Jessica talk about this before as well. We're 20% too low on all the prices that we charge anyway. So straight away, if we can just get the word out and use things like technology and the software to show people, that their pricing isn't based on value. They're not covering their cost in some cases. Again, like Jessica said, that's immediately a £2.4 billion increase that we can bring in without really changing anything major. So we're already a bit further forward there. There's regulation. That's a big thing as well. There's no regulation or very little regulation in this industry as well. And that can both help on the training side, bringing in more revenue, and also on the people valuing what it is that we do. And I believe technology can help there as well by both making it easier for people to learn, giving people different ways to learn, keeping on top of people's qualifications, making sure that qualifications are up to date and people are retrained and on top of their skills and all these kind of things. And as well, the biggest one for me is, as well as the pricing, is the retail sales. There's a huge chunk there of beauty retail sales that are coming from the supermarkets and the high street retail chains, where people are not necessarily buying the right products for themselves. And I think there's a big opportunity to shift some of that revenue, some of that profit over to the independent beauty salons and the hair salons, but with better education. So people are actually buying the right thing for them. And whilst that's just shifting money across, I think that can then be increased as well by buying the right products and buying the right products that work together in the right home care schemes, because that's really what's going to grow the industry.
And Haylee, I feel like you were about to jump into something there as well.
No, I think, that's probably one of the reasons why I use Timely, because I actually genuinely believe it helps people become better business people. You've got to remember as well, the majority of salon owners, I suppose, were actually hairdressers or beauticians from the start. So they don't have a background in business. They're having to learn on the go. And most of the time, they don't have a mentor. They don't have any support. So your biggest support is from your accountants, or you might be using Xero or your booking software, so if you can get things from the booking software, like reports about profit and loss, what's your most profitable treatment, and information about how well your staff are doing, you've really got to be able to sort of embrace that technology and look at the information.
Alrighty, how about Jessica, would you like to share?
Yeah, definitely. So during lockdown, obviously a lot of my clients had a lot of time, so we increased our support and we were helping them, and we were focusing on what leakages do we need to stop, what do we need to prevent, and what new systems and processes can we put into place and use this time really wisely. So as you know, Lou, a lot of my clients during this time moved over to Timely, because they're like, it's the perfect time to move and get everything reset up. And one of the problems that we face as an industry, and I've noticed in the restaurant industry are facing this also, is no-shows. So what we helped clients do was to put in systems and processes whereby a lot of my clients now are taking 100% payment in advance, or at least minimum 50% deposit. So what this helps you to do, and we're also helping them put in things like, and Timely help with the payment plans and everything, is to put memberships into place so that you're already getting base revenue into your salon every single month. You're not starting the month at zero and hoping that every single one of those clients turn up and then upsell and etc. You can be at a point where it's the first of the month and you already know that there's already 20 grand that's come in for that month, or however much it is.
Also, sorry, could I just add something that we've been introduced actually lately is our therapists and stylists having office time, which is kind of a bit unheard of. But they're actually using, the software to run their own columns, like their own business. And we're really encouraging them to take ownership of those extra 15-minute gaps, or the 5-minute gaps, and calling the client themselves. It's that personal touch and actually saying, look, do you mind if you come in 5 minutes early? Because by the end of the day, you've actually got, you've made an extra hour. And to us, that's just so valuable as a business. But actually, because they're, the staff are commissioned, it's important for them as well. So the technology is really, really helping us with that too.
Awesome. That's so good to hear. It's brilliant. And Ryan or Gareth, would you two like to add anything to this one as well?
With membership programs, what I found is when I've done that with clients and stuff like that, again, they come back in, they have nothing to pay, or they're paying for the next one, and product then on top of that, But I do it in a way where it's not forcing them to buy it, it's an essential. I think that word is kind of important. It's an essential. Beauty is essential. The journey is essential. The product at home is essential for the client, and it's educating the staff to kind of be able to do that as well.
So one of the trends that I'm watching at the moment, which I think is really exciting, is I'm seeing more and more technology solutions being born out of the beauty industry to begin with. I think that's really important because we can't look to tech as a separate industry to come along and help solve our problems, because that won't happen. And let's remember that technology solutions, for the most part, are meant to help, but in some cases they don't. Some of the things that Adam's spoken to, and Jess, you've spoken to with discounting, some of the technology solutions promote that and make that easier, and it creates a race to the bottom for the industry. So we can't sit back and wait for tech to come along and see what they're going to turn up with. We need to drive the change ourselves. And the more I'm seeing the beauty industry upskill in technology and take control of the technology from within the industry, the better.
How can we influence the beauty industry to adopt technology?
I think it comes down to education, and just showing what the benefit will be. What's the benefit to them personally? What's the benefit to their salon? What's the benefit to their staff? If they can grow as a business and be more profitable, what does that mean to everyone? And therefore, obviously, helping the beauty industry, hair and beauty, get to that 50 billion mark, because it's collective, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mindset thing. Again, it's that potential lack of business background mindset thing, because I still have clients now when I talk to them about moving on to some sort of software system, and increasingly recently it's obviously been Timely, but they immediately turn around and go, oh, but that's a lot of money for me to spend each month. And I'm like, well, okay, let's break it down. What can this save you in time, first of all? So with just the ability for it to manage the waiting lists and handle the appointments and bookings and things like that, I'm like, okay, how much, let's just put a figure on it. How much time would that save a day? Let's say that saves you just 20 minutes a day. That's more than an hour over a week. That's how many hours over the course of a month. If you can just see, let's say you can do 4 more treatments over the course of the month because you've not had to do that. How much more money has that brought you in? Has that paid for the software? Yes. In which case it's not a cost. It's an investment. It's just gained you more time, gained you more money.
If I could just talk to that for a second, one of the ways we've seen that manifest, I think, over the last decade or so with technology in the beauty industry is that there's hundreds and hundreds of okay systems that kind of do the same thing. And that's not really the best thing for the industry. You know, what the industry needs is one or two, really fantastic platforms that can grow and be successful and help the beauty industry achieve their goals. And to the point you made, Adam, that's our job. You know, if we're not educating the value of the platform to the industry, that's our job to solve. We need to make sure that we can be as clear as we can that this shouldn't be a cost exercise. You know, this isn't about choosing the cheapest way of doing things, because that's what creates this situation where we just have lots of pretty ordinary solutions available in the industry. So, you know, I think it's time for the technology industry to step up as opposed for the beauty industry to take on these problems. I think it's really companies like mine that need to do better.
Yeah, I just want to add from what Haylee's building on from what Haylee said as well. I think it's definitely education and sharing your experiences. So in our group, our clients can all share what's worked, what's not worked, why, what they would do better, what they would change. So for example, when one of our clients started doing this 100% payment, they could share with the rest of the group, this worked, this didn't work. If we did it again, we would do this. So it's educating others, which then gives them the confidence to try it as well. And when that's backed with them knowing their numbers, and they can then share that with the team, this is why we need to do it like this, this is the benefits, this is what's going to happen if we don't do this, then that team feel empowered, the salon owner feels empowered. And then if the team or the salon owner get challenged by the client, which is what they all fear, they have that sound knowledge and confidence to explain to them why these new systems, processes or technologies have had to have been brought in, and the impact and how it's ultimately long-term going to better serve the end consumer.
Yeah. Just onto that, Jess. So yeah, when we introduced that 100% deposit, it was like first the clients were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But then they understand what, you educate them why you're doing it. And because they support you as a salon, as a spa, they will get on board with it. And it is scary to start off with, but you have to be strong about it. And I think that this is the critical time where everyone needs to sort of stand their ground and be strong and have trust that if the client really loves coming to your salon, they're going to pay it, because why wouldn't they pay the 100%? They're going to pay the 100% eventually anyway. It just shows that they weren't going to turn up in the first place. So you don't want those clients anyway.
And if we all do it all together and it becomes the norm, then no one has to get scared, because it's just what everybody does. And it's just what, nobody books a hotel anymore without paying for it in advance. Nobody books a train, nobody books a plane anymore without paying for it in advance. So why not our industry as well?
I've nothing to add to that. It's all education, really. I educate myself with new techniques all the time. So you have to educate yourself with new technology all the time. We're constantly growing. So that's very important.
I think that's you actually said what I was trying to say before better. I think technology is a skill that needs to be added to the menu for beauty. You learn people skills, you learn technical skills, you learn business skills, there's creativity, and there's technology. It needs to be part of the stack.
Some people aren't, kind of able for technology, so you kind of slow and steady wins the race. The education has to be taken really kind of slowly and seriously for the people that, don't understand it. So the education is very important.
And Ryan, can I just say, just personal note, Timely, what you guys have done for the industry, especially during this sort of critical period, I think it actually just highlights how good Timely is. And I actually think that this will catapult you just for, Timely as a business, and how supportive they are towards the industry. It's not just a software company, it's a community. And I really noticed that it was so nice to watch, all the good feedback, especially on the groups. And Lou, you're doing such a good job, but you guys probably don't get any sort of like high five. You can't high five yourself, I suppose, but just from an industry standpoint, really appreciative. Like, all my managers just rave about how supportive Timely is.
Yeah, I want to second that as well. And Haylee, I recorded a podcast with Ryan a week or so ago, and we went for about 50 minutes talking, and we didn't even talk about the software itself once.
No.
We
He's
just
too
talked
humble.
about we just talked about how, and I had to get him to bring things out, but yeah, the stuff that they put out there, the support of both his staff and everyone else. So yeah, I want to applaud Timely as well for that. Well done, guys.
Now we are bang on time, which is amazing. I feel like we all need a round of applause because we're on to the last one and we've got 10 minutes and I'm just so proud of us all. So great job, everyone.
Well done, Lou. Well done, Lou.
This might be a first for the industry. Like, I've never been to one of these panels that doesn't go 50% over time.
Now, what message would each of you like to leave the beauty industry with?
My message to the beauty industry is please stand strong. It is really tough, but we have to all work together. So anything you can do to share your knowledge, but also have faith in the value that you are providing. You know, the value of services is so important for people's well-being and for them to feel good. So don't devalue those services. Because if you devalue it, then everyone else devalues it, and then we devalue our entire industry as a whole.
Should we just wrap it there, Haylee? That's it. That's a mic drop.
Mic drop. That was so good.
Who's going next?
Awesome.
I'll add a short piece on. So my message for the hair industry would be to keep inspiring the next generation, to keep mentoring the next generation, to keep mentoring them, nurturing them, and growing them into our future.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and mine would just be basically learn on the lessons from the past. This industry is the most resilient. It's going to take a little bit of time to get back to where we were, but I truly believe that this has been, although this has never happened before in terms of what we've just gone through, we've been through recessions, we've been through all sorts of things like this from an economic point of view many times before. And the one thing it's always proven is it has always made leaps and bounds. We're talking about technology. We're talking about new ways of doing things. We're talking about turning everything on its head and re-educating both the consumer and the industry as well. And there's no two ways about it. We're going to come out of this stronger. It's going to take a little bit of time for it all to kick in, but we've learned so much in this period that as long as we embrace that and take that with us as we move forward, it's only going to help us grow and make the industry bigger and stronger. And hopefully, like we said right at the start, a place where more people want to come and work because there are the opportunities in here and it is a genuine career choice and it shouldn't ever be thought of as that thing you do because you weren't academic at school.
Awesome. Gareth, if we could have a few words from you on a message for the hair and beauty industry.
I think just continue to love what you do, continue to educate and continue to grow and move forward. Educate yourself and educate your staff, you know, and that's progression, and you know that's how we'll keep moving forward and how we'll expand the industry. You know, we've had to adapt now with COVID-19, and from what I've seen, a lot of the industry has adapted. It's not forever, you know. We'll adapt and we'll grow from that, and then whatever happens afterwards is going to be even better, amazing, you know. A new experience.
Absolutely. And Ryan as well, if we could have a few words to wrap today's chat up.
Yeah, so I was going to say something similar to what Gareth has just said. You know, I think we are entering an era at the moment of trust and safety. You know, clients are going to be looking for trust and safety, and technology is a great way to demonstrate that with things like consultations, the way that you can really show that you can be trusted for clients. And this is going to be for a while yet, right? We're not out of the woods. The way we're working at the moment is going to be something that we're going to have to all work through together. Some of the things are going to be annoying and short term, and then we'll throw them out when we're finished with them. But the exciting thing is some of them are going to be new ways to work, things that are better, things that we'll hold on to forever. And we'll look back on this time and think, you know, it was a time for us to adapt and learn and improve, even though it was really challenging for us all at the same time. So, you know, embrace the positive side of things, because there will be a lot of positives through this experience for us individually and for the whole industry as well.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Honestly, like your insights, advice, and everything. And I'm sure that all of the people that get to watch this when we do sort of stream it live are going to get a lot out of what you've all shared. So
thanks for asking us.
Lovely to
Lou.
see you all.
Yeah, lovely
Yeah,
to
nice,
see you.
nice to
too.
meet you all as well. Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet.
You're all very inspiring.